And the Oscar goes to Octavia Spencer.
In February, Octavia Spencer took home an Oscar for her portrayal of Minnie Jackson in The Help.
What law's gonna say you got to be nice to your maid?
You don't have to do this now, Minnie.
You damn right I don't. You two give me heart palpitations.
More than just a look at history, The Help has brought attention to the continuing struggles of domestic workers today.
You know, with regard to domestics in this country now and then, I think Dr. King said it best. All labor that uplifts humanity has dignity and importance, and I thank you.
Organizations like Mujeres Unidas and the National Domestic Workers Alliance have leveraged the publicity of The Help and its 4 Oscar nominations to bring attention to reform efforts. Advocates from the peninsula gathered with those in San Francisco for an Oscar party where the real help, the women who work every day as housekeepers, nannies, and caretakers, headlined alongside the film.
The Oscar parties are being organized around the country by the activists in the domestic worker movement. And it's an opportunity to bring together the women who have been really at the heart of the push for a domestic worker bill of rights in California.
Today, there are an estimated 2.5 million domestic workers in the United States and over 200,000 in California. Most of them are minority and immigrant women.
Some of these people don't get paid much, and they have to clean their women's houses, take care of their kids, and you see families who are kind of abusive a little bit about the situation, and they don't appreciate what these women are doing. But they're willing to do it because they need a job. They have to do it.
Well, look, I used to work 24 hours a day. They paid me $500 a month, and I was there 24 hours, 5 days a week, and I didn't have time for eating or for anything.
What has to happen is there's ultimately going to have to be a shift from the idea that caregivers work 24 hours a day, day after day after day, never receiving any overtime and other benefits.
A recent study conducted in Northern California reveals the extent of this issue. Perhaps even more disturbing, however, are the number of women who report being insulted, threatened, physically abused, and sexually harassed. And it's likely that many incidents go unreported. I went through a lot of abuse, and, well, like me, there are domestic workers who go through those abuses. It's verbal abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, or sometimes sexual harassment. So I want it to stop now, so that our people, our community, no longer go through this. Yes, it's very common, but what happens is that out of necessity, one stays quiet. Advocacy efforts focus on both legal reform and worker education.
But of course, in this industry, even when there are protections, they're violated often. And so the other big piece of this is worker education and empowerment, so that the workers start to understand that they do have these rights and have the courage to come forward and to get the help they need to enforce them.
I'm Emna Delgado, and I've been a domestic worker since I was 13 years old. I used to care for a woman. I did laundry, ironed, cooked, cleaned the house, everything, 1,000 uses. And thank God, now that I know about Mujeres Unidas, I've learned to set limits, to say, no, I only clean houses, or I only care for children. That is, I know how to set my limits. Workers who care for children, the elderly, and the disabled are of particular concern.
The ultimate irony in the way the law is structured now, I think, is that if someone is cleaning the toilets in your house, they have more rights than the person taking care of your children or your grandmother with Alzheimer's.
The top priority is getting the Domestic Workers' Bill of Rights signed into law.
Well, it would provide for what has up until now been exempted for domestic workers, meal breaks, rest periods, overtime accommodations. Domestic workers are currently not covered. that way. So if there is some kind of malfeasance or a ill treatment, etc., there is really no place for the domestic worker to go.
For many of these women, the fight for dignity and fair working conditions has never been more relevant.
It is so moving. We go to Sacramento with these women and they speak out and they tell their stories right to the legislators. They speak at public hearings. They speak on the lawn of the Capitol.
This is Jennifer Gonzalez, reporting with Claudia Nunez for the Peninsula Press, a project of the Stanford Graduate Program in Journalism.